What are the expectations for Gunnar Stockton in 2025? What does he have to do to win over Georgia fans and the national media this upcoming season? Those are two good questions that I think are really interesting as we head into SEC Media Days for Georgia tomorrow. Obviously, Gunnar Stockton will be there. He's not going to talk a lot because that's just him. He's not going to say a lot of things to the media. He's just going to sit there and smile. But this is a guy that no one is really high on, especially in the national media, right? ESPN's Paul Feinbaum thinks he stinks, thinks Georgia might have a down year because of Gunnar Stockton. I think a lot of Georgia fans are not super excited about Gunnar Stockton leading this offense. So there's a lot of different opinions about Gunnar Stockton out there. And a lot of them are coming from people who apparently did not watch the Sugar Bowl. I've seen way too many people out there, Paul Feinbaum included, who say, I wasn't impressed with Gunnar against Notre Dame, blah, blah, blah. I didn't play great, didn't lead them to a win. I'm telling you right now, I don't know what they were watching, or I don't know what they were expecting out of him with no offensive line, no running game, receivers dropping passes left and right. Gunnar Stockton did not play all that bad against Notre Dame at all. And I've said many times, he's probably one of the better players that Georgia had that day on offense. But is it all about winning in 2025? Does he have to play all that great? Is it all about the team's record? I think the general consensus there is yes. If he can lead Georgia to an SEC championship, playoff run, and a national championship, that's what Georgia fans are expecting. But if he goes out there and puts up giant numbers, and maybe the defense is the reason for a loss or two, are Georgia fans still going to say, okay, he had a good season, right? What is a good season from Gunnar Stockton? I do think he could put up some really good numbers, but at the end of the day, I think Georgia fans are just saying, hey, just don't turn the football over, be safe with the ball, be efficient on offense. You don't have to put up giant numbers, just lead them to victories. Now, if you ask Carson Beck that, he's going to say you have to play well and win games, right? He was not playing all that well in the middle of the season, and Georgia fans were quick to turn on Carson Beck because of the interceptions. He was throwing way too many. If you turn the football over, Georgia fans are going to come for you. They're going to come for you in a big way. You stink. You're no good. Everyone wants to see the backup. So if Gunnar Stockton can be safe and efficient with the football, I don't think the yards or touchdowns matter, right? Win games, help the running game to take it the next level, and just don't turn the football over. Don't fumble it. Don't throw it to the other team. Doesn't matter. Be safe with the football and win games. And I don't think Georgia fans are really going to care about the numbers that he puts up. However, I still think he is good enough and capable enough to put up big numbers. I think he is a threat with his legs. I know a lot of Georgia fans through 1.5 games last year, they don't think he's a dual threat quarterback. He's not as fast and explosive as Stetson Bennett was. The guy can get those tough yards, and Georgia should absolutely use him in the run game. But I think at the end of the day, Gunnar has to get the ball out to his weapons. He's got a lot of them, right? Be smart with the football, get it to the right guy, don't turn it over, and I think Georgia's offense will be fine because, again, if they have a healthy, stable of backs, the running game should take a step forward, even though you've got some new, fresh names on the offensive line. But at wide receiver, he's got some dogs. He's got speed. He's got size. He's got tight ends that have been around for a minute. He's got two veterans in Lawson Lucky, Oscar Delp. He's got speed in the backfield. It's mostly size at running back, but they've got some speed back there too. But he's got Zachariah Branch who can stretch the field. The screen and short passing game is going to be there, right? And I know Georgia fans want to see a completely different offense. But that's just not going to happen. You have to run the football, but the screen game is an extension of the run game. So if they're not getting those tough yards and they're not winning the battle in the trenches, you've got to use the screen in the short passing game to help that running game get going. It's an extension of that. Kirby Smart said that many, many times. And it's up to Gunnar to read those defenses, check in and out of plays, get them into the best position to make a positive play. He's going to have to be mobile in the backfield. There are going to be times where, they're going against quality, defensive fronts, and he's going to be kind of running for his life here and there, right? I don't know if Georgia's offensive line is going to be elite. I don't know if they're going to have elite tackle play. I think they could, but he's going to have to create back there when plays break down, and he's got that potential to do so. At the end of the day, I think Georgia fans would rather him not light up the stat sheet and be safe with the football and win games and lead them to some big drives and some key moments in the fourth quarter and close victories than him be better than people think from a talent perspective, light up the stat sheet, but maybe they lose a game or two that they shouldn't, and maybe that won't be up to him, but maybe there's a game where they're in a shootout and he leads them to 40 points and they lose 45-42, something like that, where one play at the end that doesn't go their way, is the result of a loss. But I'm asking y'all, this is not a whole lot. This isn't me sharing anything new. This is me asking the audience, what are you going to be happy with from Gunnar Stockton? Is it leading the team to wins, right? Even if he doesn't play all that great and they have to win some defensive battles, is it just him not losing games and going as far as possible? Does the stat sheet, does anyone care about what he does? Are people looking to say, okay, I'm looking for 2,500 passing yards, 30 combined touchdowns, something like that? I mean, what are everyone else's expectations? Because again, you ask the national media, Gunnar Stockton's barely in that top 10, sometimes not even in the top 10 when you're looking at just quarterbacks in the SEC. I think it's crazy. I think he went up against two really good defenses in Texas and Notre Dame and did everything he could. And he won one of those games, coming in at halftime, leading them to an SEC championship, playing like a warrior, right? And maybe it's because it doesn't look all that clean. He does have a little bit of a wind-up. It's not the quickest, cleanest release, but the ball jumps out of his hand. He has the arm talent. And he's accurate. But the throw he made on the run to Lawson Lucky against Texas, there are not a lot of quarterbacks out there who can make that throw. The deep throw to Dillon Bell would have changed the game against Notre Dame if you would have caught it. The touchdown pass to Cash Jones was excellent. He read the defense, stayed in the pocket, knew exactly where he needed to put the football, and threw a touchdown. The ball to Arian Smith, where he got blown up on the play, throws a perfect ball. I think that ball went 50 yards in the air perfectly to Arian Smith. Almost a touchdown, right? The call was brought back because the walk-on got hit by the ref. That was a game-changing play in a kind of good and bad way. But that throw, you're not going to find a whole lot of quarterbacks who can make that throw in college football. But it's forgotten, right? Did he have a bad play or two against Notre Dame? Sure. Did he have some really good plays that people have obviously completely forgotten about? Absolutely. If you're going to blame Gunnar Stockton for his left tackle getting crushed and him getting crushed in the back and fumbling the football, okay, but he needed more help in that game and he just didn't get it. So people are just going on that Notre Dame game and, one half against Texas, again, against two outstanding defenses, and that's what they're using to say Gunnar Stockton isn't good enough to lead Georgia anywhere. This guy's not a top 10 quarterback in the SEC. I think they're mistaken, right? Does he have to show more? Absolutely. I think the one thing we know about Gunnar Stockton is that we don't know enough yet, right? He still hasn't played a whole lot. And he was thrown out there against, again, I've said this multiple times now, two outstanding defenses. Now he's got to go on the road to play at Auburn. He's got to go on the road to play at Tennessee. The tougher games, Alabama, Texas, those are in Athens, right? So it'll be a little easier. But again, I think we're going to see the crowd behind him as well in these home games. He hasn't played at home in an extended period of time. Texas was in Atlanta. Notre Dame was in New Orleans. Florida State was down in Miami, right? So I do think you could see him being more comfortable, in his own self and his play, but in the offense too, in a setting at home, right? So I think we're going to see a big year from Gunnar Stockton. But my question is, what does he have to do, right? Is it just lead teams to victory, or he plays maybe mediocre and it doesn't look great all the time, but as long as he's not losing the game for him and they're winning games, is that all that matters? Or will, people be fine with him lighting up the stat sheet? But I think at the end of the day, it's all about the team. But I'm asking because Georgia goes tomorrow at the SEC Media Days, and Gunnar's not going to say a whole lot, but I want to know, this is a question for you, for me to understand better where the Georgia fan base is as far as what they are expecting and what they want to see out of Gunnar Stockton this fall. I think he's better than probably most people think. I'm a little biased because I covered him throughout high school. I want to see him succeed because I know the kid and his family a little bit, and I've seen him ball out. And I think he has the potential to still do that this upcoming season. But what do you think? What are you looking for Gunnar Stockton this fall? What would it take for you to say, okay, I am a Gunnar Stockton guy? What will it have to take? All right. Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for getting through this video. Wasn't my best, but we're going to have more answers and questions for SEC Media Days on Tuesday. Let me know what your thoughts on Gunnar Stockton are in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you over on Dawg Post.